One pull up.
Greetings to all Sierra Leoneans. This na we own TV station. Me where they bring this news, me na Shaban. And I still tell all my followers, they say, anybody who love we own TV station, let it get we under Facebook and YouTube. Just Google we own TV station, both Facebook and YouTube, you go get we live. Now, we carry the news in details. This we country where we dey so, we governed by international body. This we country where we dey so, we dey survive by international body. That they responsible for we, that they do for we wetin we want, that they help we sick, we angry, we want buy, we want do everything that they help we. We not get good road, that they help we from a good road. So if Sierra Leoneans they want do something, with them people and they don't say no, I feel say we say for say no to that thing dey. Concerning this census in the country, yes, every president get right for call for census when it's necessary. You get right for call for census. But if you call this census, it don't mean say you for use your own discretion, your own power, your own might for say if the majority say no, you now the minority you now for say yes. No. That's not true census. If una when they do the census, take this bill, carry and go to parliament. Parliament say yes. Una welcome. Una can continue. But parliament don't say no. I not feel say nothing for let una pest say pauper. Una for do am. Let una pest say pauper. Then for count people in the country. That means hidden agenda they inside this census. Because if hidden agenda not inside this census, where the international community don't say no, when parliament don't say no, I feel say, therefore don't talk say, okay, what would they do? Let we self left. Let we forget about the census. Because census, that's a quant rule. Not so they determine you for every election. When they do census, now for no decide them where demotes na the country. We not get hospital, we not get good road, we not get health facility, we not get food, we not get plenty basic necessities that were necessary for we the Sierra Leoneans. If they do census, that side they go tell you the president say yes. This side I for do so thing they under. This side I for do so thing they under. It don't mean say if you go do the census, we don't get the counting now for the election. No. Not for the election. Election are a different body. Now for let you the president know what you do. I not feel say when they tell you say census. Now concerning election are a different body to census. Census now for let you the president know what you do. And inside the census thing, I tell big people and kudos we stand firm for this census business. Because not to intend. If not be intend, it be for right. The Constitution of Sierra Leone tell you say now every 10 years they for do census in this country. It don't start from 1984. They can do them inside 1996. Then Pakaba continue. From Pakaba and Esbaikoma continue. So for do them 2025. So if 2025 not reach it, I tell you one them we stand firm. Kudos to them. We stand behind this thing also. We they behind this thing in strongly. As you can see, where the parliamentarians them, where they rally, where they strike in the parliament, and soon as they see now, this now one of the things that we will expect the parliamentarians them for stand for. When they say right, na right. When they say wrong, na wrong. Like this way they go on so, na wrong thing. So you see there, they all come to one. They say no to census. I'm so happy. And the Sierra Leoneans them back, people then they will say no to the census. And we still continue for say no to the census because no to the census in term this. If not be in term, would they accept them? Problem no dey. Because na the will of the president, but not to in term. So we no get for acceptance. So kudos once more to the parliamentarians then. Where stand so, where they support, where they support they for letting stop this census. Then I dey tell Madam Akisoya, very big kudos again for the way it go stand firm at the international committee for we go represent Salone as a mayor. I'm so happy for him. I'm so glad for him. Now we just get a bit of word where he will tell them.
Talk about democracy being government of the people for the people. Key to that is the people choosing their government. And one of the sort of dilemmas we've had, one of the challenges is that we've been in a situation where in 2019, 9 elected parliamentarians were removed from parliament by a court order and replaced not by the vote of the people, but by another court order. Similarly, in this current time, we're also facing a situation which is challenging that trust, where the Auditor General, very key for fighting corruption, has been unconstitutionally suspended indefinitely. So
it's a pleasure to be with everyone this morning, and for some of you this afternoon, this evening, and to introduce 2 distinguished leaders who will open today's session on bolstering democratic resilience.
I'm Enrique Acevedo, a correspondent with 60 Minutes Plus and CBS News, and I'll be moderating the rest of our panel discussion on bolstering democratic resilience. For 15 consecutive years, the world has experienced a decline in global freedom and a recession in democracy. The COVID-19 pandemic made things worse by creating an environment ripe for exploitation by governments and non-state actors keen on consolidating power. In many countries, historical checks and balances have eroded, fostering the need for this robust reflection on how democracies endure and carry on in the face of the core challenges that threaten them. The global consensus, as we've seen in our conversations today on democratic norms, has shown signs of fraying in recent years with increased polarization, disillusion, and authoritarian patterns of governance, including in advanced Western democracies. How serious are the strains on democracy, and more importantly, what steps can be taken to reinvigorate democratic societies and institutions? We will explore how the rise of strongman states, internal and external conflict, rising inequity, polarization, and the COVID-19 pandemic challenge the future for more participatory models of government. Today, we'll learn from our panelists' diverse experiences about what makes democracies more resilient.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to also thank President Biden for giving me this opportunity to be part of this discourse today. Indeed, as an elected official, mayor of the capital city, we clearly have a role to play and had a role to play ongoing within the pandemic. And these concepts, these tenets of democracy, particularly citizen participation, has really been a key part of how we've done this. The pandemic happened within our ongoing context of rolling out a program called #TransformFreetown, a community-centered, inclusive approach over these 3 years. And that accountability, that engagement served us well in terms of coming in and engaging residents with the specifics of what was going to be our contribution to the pandemic. Key to that was, the fact that we have 35% of our residents in informal settlements, and needing to understand in the absence of water, the space for social distancing, what could effectively be done. And we came up with some great initiatives which have really made an impact. But when we talk about democracy, we don't do it in a vacuum. And that question of the social contract, that trust, which is so critical for how residents will respond, how citizens will respond in a time of crisis, is actually already planted in times prior to the crisis. So in our context, as we talk about democracy being government of the people for the people, key to that is the people choosing their government. And one of the sort of dilemmas we've had, one of the challenges, is that we've been in a situation where in 2019, 9 elected parliamentarians were removed from parliament by a court order and replaced not by the vote of the people, but by another court order. Similarly, in this current time, we're also facing a situation which is challenging that trust, where the Auditor General, very key for fighting corruption, has been unconstitutionally suspended indefinitely. So you have this sort of, there's a need to work together, central governments, local governments. There's a need to ensure that democratic tenets are held strongly and that residents have the confidence and the trust, because if there's one thing that's key to fighting a pandemic, as we've seen all around the world, it's having that trust of residents. So when trust is eroded or challenged, it actually means that in a time of crisis, building that collective engagement, that belief, whether it's for taking the vaccines, accepting the truth of the virus, it makes it harder. So as President Biden said earlier in his opening remarks, democracy is not a state, it's an act. And our continued actions need to be leading us towards the direction of strengthening democracies. One last thing I'd just say is that we've seen on our continent a reversal for the first time in 15 years of good governance. This is not just about Sierra Leone, but it's about Africa. And in a country where 40% of our people are living below the poverty line, democracy is not an option, it's a must. So we use the pandemic as a lever to see what can be done, how democracy serves us. But we mustn't forget that democracy and the acts of democracy and the acts against democracy will take us either one way or the other. We must continue to invest in actions that strengthen democracy at all levels of government.
Mayor Guy Sawyer, thank you. Mayor of Freetown in Sierra Leone, with an emphasis on the fight against corruption, of course, strengthening the rule of law and checks on government trust as a main theme in your participation. Thank you so much. Now we go to Her Excellency Silvia Hernandez Sanchez. She's the president of the...
As soon as I read this word, we don't go tell them people here. This is not one of the things the way the people themselves going to say yes. Sierra Leone democracy shaky. And this is not a democratic land. Anybody who try to jeopardize with democracy, it not go down well with you. The international committee no go glad for una. But if we all come to one, we try for control with democracy in a salon, we go see what salon they in peacefulness. Kudos again to Madam Diana Konomani. Instead of going to your own place, sensitizing people them, tell them waiting at the reason we make the census not legal. I dey tell them kudos and I dey bless them, and I will tell her like continue in good work where it put on. Let it put on in good work, let it not relent, still continue as a standful woman. Though we get one side bites na corner where then call her cipher. In a cipher among the women's. Cipher among women's. Where in the corner, it for the poor income woman then, but they're not still the watcher. How is the poor income woman then? Now so income woman they go before. Let's just watch Madam Akisoya. Back of this video. The good work where they do right now. The international committee. Let's watch and be in this video. If they any side they watch me on my TV station, let's watch and be in this video. The good work where they do. Let's just listen to the voice of Madam Diana Konomani. In good work where self they do. Let you know say in a cipher among women. So he side it's not relevant for learning calling him anymore. Because he don't show himself who that he be among the women. So once again, this census we still resist Sierra Leoneans. They say the census, let them patient. When in time reach, Sierra Leoneans then go accept the census. But if in time not reach it, I don't feel say we for accept the census. Because census now every 10 years through the constitution of Sierra Leone, 1991 constitution. Every 10 years now for the census. So kudos to the one that will stand firm for this census in business, from the parliamentarians them, the MPs them, the councillors them, the big people that will get in the country. kudos again to we party secretary general, wona nobody but Al-Haji Usman Fodi Yansane, and kudos to the chairman of NGC, wona Dr. Dennis Bright. Kudos to the one that where they C4C and all the other parties them. We come from this consortium, and kudos once again, kudos to one big mama, one of Madam Femi Cole. As soon as I can see, he go na SLBC, he sit down there, he say then stand by the word. He say no matter they arrest them, they not arrest them, they don't care. But the census not legal, so they not get for accept the census as the opposition party inside Sierra Leone. Kudos to you once more. Kudos to you, Madam Cole. Kudos to you. Continue una good work. Una fight for Sierra Leone and una stand firm for Sierra Leone and them. Because we were in at this social media with the fight we own. But we don't fight so the fight now at the paso. For now, give the message to the people. Una now as a politician, na una they stand firm. Na una they lead the poor people. Na una they fight for the poor people. Kudos to you once more. This una good work on the put on so parliament and everywhere. Let God continue for guide una. Always stand behind this faith. Let God make how una don't continue for faith for Sierra Leoneans so. Let una continue for day with Sierra Leoneans them. Till we gain with democracy, we bring with Salome back to waiting we want them. And by God in power, it must happen. We must go with Sierra Leone to whose side we be there. Anybody who can for destroy this country, God go push them far from we. Anybody who can make this country let it be peaceful, God will count and for we with blessing and peace. Sierra Leone is a peaceful land, we not for make. Only by you, we not feel say Sierra Leone quick for make. Sierra Leone quick for make. So kudos to the woman there. Then 3 great heroes there. Madam Cole, Madam Felicia Cole, Femi Cole. So you, Madam Diana Konomani. So you, Madam Akisoya. Kudos to her once more. That cipher among women, let's say they see less shame pound more and more. In name no relevant for call anymore. So this census thing, they are Sierra Leoneans there with the big. Let we resist them because not to intend this. Me where they bring this news, me na shaman from Muyon TV station. So tomorrow I tell you all that.